Hey,
There.
how's
Now
it
we've
going,
got some
brother?
connection. Good. You look like you're in a very dark place.
Well, yeah, I have this one sad lamp, and that's the only thing illuminating me in this office that I have at home. It's quite
Yeah,
pathetic.
it's very moody. I
Does it
like
add
it.
mystique?
It does.
Also, my daughter just came and banged on the office door, so she's not thrilled that this is happening right now.
This is amazing. Yeah.
Are you getting used to this kind of thing, or do you miss going for radio visits, going from city and city and town to town, or is this okay with being the new norm?
Yeah. This is okay, but I'd way rather be in studio with you. I mean, same with all the conference calls that we're doing, and I don't know. I miss coming into radio stations and TV studios, and there's just, yeah.
So even after all these years of doing it, you still enjoy that aspect of it, going to different cities, seeing the radio station, seeing the people that are playing your music across Canada?
Yeah, for sure, man. Especially since COVID, like everything being shut down and not seeing people and missing people, and like a lot of you guys are my friends too, right? So it was always a good way to connect is to swing by this station or the office, and this only goes, so far, as far as like it just feels better if I'm with you, or I'm with people.
Yeah, I totally feel that. Well, and that's again, I mean, we talked after your previous number one, your number one again this week with Canadian Summer, and you were like, I kind of just sat in my backyard and had a beer to celebrate. You
Yeah.
would celebrate a little more if you were on the road doing things, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. When we're on the road, when we're on the road, we celebrate like every night. We almost have to go into a detox when we get home. We talk about that actually. Yeah.
Is it like when you spend too much time with your buddies, like, let's not talk for a week after a bachelor party because I need to detox from alcohol and you guys for a little bit.
Yeah, it's not as aggressive as like some bachelor parties, but it's like that. Like it's a party every night. Like we get to go play music and there's thousands of people and we're hanging out with other bands and hanging out with people backstage, and um it's a really amazing way to live your life for like 6 to 8 weeks. And then it's just
And then
like
it's detox time.
then it's detox time. Yeah.
So what did you do to celebrate Canadian Summer? You get the call. Was it a call, an email, and then what happened?
It was a conference call. It was my team. I wasn't expecting it actually. They were like, "Yeah, you got number one." And I was like, "Oh yeah, what?" Because I knew, I knew we were close, but I'd just been out west visiting a friend, and I was traveling the day before, and so yeah, the news was just a total shock to me. And then when they said the amount of spins and that we broke a record from the last song, and um, it's just really encouraging, man. Because the beginning of this year, we started our own label, and when I say our, it's just like this little group of people, my little team. And it's a little risky, right? You're like, okay, we're competing against the big guys, and is this going to be okay? And so the second number one is kind of like an affirmation that we're going to be okay. And I've got some really good people around me that are passionate and working hard.
Well, this is the first time in your career you've done that, two number ones in the same year and back to back. That's never happened. So to do that under your own label has to feel even better, right?
Yeah. And just kudos to my team. Like they've been amazing. And without them, it wouldn't happen. Without you guys like playing it, and without my fans, really resonating with that song, like being able to hear Canadian Summer and go, oh yeah, that's what it was like. It gives you that nostalgic feeling. So
Did you a little bit feel like the world was against you? You start this label, a business venture, and then a pandemic hits across you're like, what's happening here?
yeah, not really the world against me, but it's a risk. But then yeah, COVID hits, and yeah, I launched a record label and a new beer and bought a house, and then COVID hit. And so all of the money that we were going to use to actually like help that stuff out it's just gone. And so it's been a challenge, like, trying to bridge to next year. But no, the record label's doing okay. And by record label, it's just me. I'm not going to sign anybody else. It was just nice to be able to take control of my career and stuff. But yeah, it's been a good year. I mean,
I
there's a
think that's
silver
something
lining.
that artists go through when you get to a certain stage. To be able to take your career in your own hands is a massive step, and something that every artist at some point, they want that control. They don't always get it, but to have that's got to feel awesome.
It does, yeah. Especially if you're in a position before where you feel like maybe they weren't looking into your best interests, right? And so then you go, okay, I got to watch out for myself here. And it's scary. Especially for me, I'm not a businessman. Like, that's why I have good people around me to help me with those decisions and stuff. So it feels really good to be on our way and to be doing okay. Yeah.
Back-to-back number ones. The most streamed Canadian artist of the summer is you. And to have Canadian Summer kind of top that off as the cherry on top, go number one. How did you celebrate?
Oh man, it was Sunday when I found out. So yeah, I just had some beers in the backyard with my dog and my cat. And parties aren't what they used to be right now.
No,
right?
they're really not. But at least your company keeps quiet while you can reflect on the journey you've been while you drink your beer, right? Nobody's talking your ear off.
That's right. Yeah, I'm just out there with the birds and the animals and the fish.
You say nostalgia. I think Canadian Summer is just a perfect way to cap off what we've gone through, because we couldn't do many things this summer, so we get to reflect on those times that we had growing up. When you think of little Dean, like 8, 9 years old, what does summer feel like to you?
Yeah, little Dean. That's funny. The barn. We always used to hang out in the barn. I don't know why, but the barn was always fun. The creek. We'd always go down to the creek, spend hours down there, getting into all kinds of trouble, tubing down the creek and building forts. We had one channel, so TV wasn't like a thing. I didn't have a video game system, so it was outside the whole time. Lakes. We had swimming lessons at the lake in the morning when it was like 0 degrees in a cold Canadian lake. Freezies, riding our bikes to the general store and getting some candy and picking up cans in the ditch. Like, we always used to do that to get extra money to take to the general store and get some candy and shit and stuff like that. But yeah, that was summer to me, just outside.
That is one thing that I'm sure parents now are like, how do you get the kids to go outside? Because everybody's inside, phones, games. But yeah, I mean, back in the day, I was a video game kid. So to hear your experience, your summer sounded a lot different than what I did. I would go on bike rides and stuff, but then it was back to video games or the golf course or something like that.
Oh, man, I had a couple friends that had video game systems, and if I could have had one, that's where I would have been, inside. Because I'd go, yeah.
We were talking on the show this week about things that you were jealous of your friends for growing up. Was yours the video game system? You're like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Nintendo, yeah.
And was that just not allowed by your family? It was like a real non-starter. There's no way that's happening.
It was just we couldn't afford it. I think that's what it came down to. Like, I remember for Christmas, Dad would always get some kind of electronic for a while there for Mom, and it was like a big deal. Like, when we got a microwave, it was like, whoa, we got a Toshiba microwave. And you'd put your food in and it would heat up like magically. Like, to us kids, we were just like, whoa. And then there was another Christmas where we got a VHS machine.
Oh, that's a big deal.
It was a big deal, man. And so, yeah, we just didn't have, maybe it's not that we didn't have the money, but Mom and Dad just never, they didn't see it as something that was important.
Is there a VHS you remember just rewinding and rewatching and rewinding and like, what was the one VHS you had to watch over and over and over?
It was a movie called Rudy.
Yes, I love Rudy.
The football movie, right?
Yes.
Sean Austin, man. I was in tears watching, because I wanted to be a punter in the CFL. That was my dream when I was a kid. And so when I watched Rudy, I was just like, yeah, Rudy did it. Maybe I can do it.
Well, because are you like me and you weren't super athletic, but you saw this guy that also maybe just had drive over athleticism, and you were like, okay, maybe just my passion can get me into something.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I was always pretty skinny as a kid. And so that's one of the reasons I tried to punt, was that you didn't have to be big to be a kicker. You could be small and, I definitely hoped my passion I had the most passion. Like, I would go out and kick in the rain, but I just ultimately didn't have that extra 10 yards I needed on a kick.
Have you been able to go out to a CFL field when you're touring Canada and actually live out that kid dream and punt a little bit and try and kick some field goals, or has that not happened yet?
Yeah, no, I did that years ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
What was it like?
It was amazing. I got to punt with a guy named Matt Kellett, who played for the Rough Riders briefly. He was a kicker for the Riders, and he was showing me some pointers and stuff, and we'd kick back and forth. And I got to play for the Calgary Colts for a couple months, just as a reserve punter.
That's so cool.
It was so cool, man. So we got to punt at McMahon Stadium. I got to kick there, and where else? Trying to think where else.
Because I tried out for like the Calgary Cowboys, the only football team I ever tried out for, because I was big and they were like, come try out. And I got cut and I never tried out for football ever again. They tried to put me on the offensive line. I was like, this stinks. I don't like this at all.
This hurts.
My God, what's happening? Well, I was thinking when we're able to travel again and when you can come on these station visits and visit us again, we should try and head out back to McMahon and we'll do a little punt and kick competition and loser will chug one of your beers.
I would love that, man. We should definitely do that.
We did that back in the day. We took a case of beer out to like a high school field here, and we just, started at the 15-yard line, kick field goals, move back if you made it. And you're just drinking and kicking all day. The next day you couldn't walk because you've never kicked field goals before.
Your back's all out of alignment. And
It's brutal. So we'll have, you bring the beer, I'll bring the footballs. We'll set it up next time we can travel and do that.
Let's do it.
So what is the beer about? How did that get started?
Man, my band is really into beer, more so than I was for a long time. And, when we go on tours, we didn't really want, the Budweiser and the Molson Canadian. My guys were just like, let's get craft brew brought into the dressing room. Like everywhere we go, let's just get a handful of different craft breweries and their beers. And so in doing that, we got to like kind of taste Canada in a compressed amount of time, like all these different IPAs and lagers and ales and sours and all this kind of stuff. And so I've, through my band, got a passion for beer. And one of my good friends, Spencer Gallant, is a brewmaster in PEI. And we came up with this idea of making a Canadian beer. And by making it Canadian, we needed to draw from as many regions as possible. So we drew from the 4 regions that I've made home in Canada, which is obviously born and raised in BC, prairies. I lived 5 years on the prairies, 1 year in Saskatchewan, 4 years in Alberta, lived in Ontario, 7 years in the Maritimes. And so we brought elements from all 4 regions into the beer, and we're really proud of it, man. It's doing well. And as a fledgling little company and a little beer, we're really proud of it.
Again, the second company you started in the midst of a pandemic, and it's doing really well.
It's growing. Yeah, it would be doing better if I could be out at the different liquor stores, doing tastings and promoting it. But for not being able to do anything like that, it's doing really well. Yeah.
So do you have a hand in picking all the different flavors? Do you have a hand in that, or what's your role?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I kind of told Spencer like what I was looking for, like kind of I wanted it to be a light beer but still have a heart to it, still have some kind of body, because some light beers it's just like drinking water. And so wanted something that was approachable, but then also had that little bit of a twist, which is the huckleberry from the Rocky Mountains. Essentially, like as kids we used to pick them, and like people out east don't really know, but the grizzly bear like gorges themselves on these berries. And so like that's kind of manly, like the grizzly bear uses these berries for fuel. And so
that's how you know if a grizzly bear's around, because you see the huckleberry poop and you're like, oh, we should get out of here.
Yeah, for sure. My dad used to bring a shotgun with him. We'd go huckleberry picking, and that was his bear spray. It was 12 gauge with a plug in it. So yeah, and it's just a hint of it. It's not like a lot of like fruit beers. It's just like overwhelming. And
so it's not a sour then. It's just like a background note.
It's like an undertone or background note. As well said.
Hey, look, Liz, I was a bartender for like 10 years, so I know how to spin this with the best of them. But what's cool for you is you did that, trying craft beers from around Canada. 1, you're supporting local, and 2, like you said, you're tasting that region, which is such an interesting thing to do while you're traveling, right? Yeah,
and it gives us a little snapshot of craft breweries are very, there's a lot of pride in the local scene, right? It's from that town. It's from the people in that town. It's from that water source. And so it's just a really cool way to experience Canada in a way. It's like a taste of Canada.
It's come a long way, because I remember 10, 15 years ago, before craft beers really exploded, I had buddies making beer in their closets or basement, and those beers were not good. So I'm glad we can.
My keyboard player, actually, Scott, who plays keys in the band, he's been making beer for years. He's made ales, and and they're actually pretty good. He did not bad, but he's also like almost a scientist. We call him Space Arm because before playing piano, he's actually used to work on satellites, or he's got a satellite. Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's super smart.
He's good to have on trivia nights at the pub when you're drinking a craft beer because he just knows all the random facts, right?
He's really smart. We call him Space Arm. Yeah.
That's a good. What's your nickname? Do you have a nickname in the band, or have you had a nickname?
Diener.
That's it. That's like the most hockey nickname ever. Hey, Diener.
Yeah, totally. Hey, Diener.
Hey, Diener. I wanted to ask you, we're talking local, you're going across Canada with this Canadian beer. You also have 5 CCMA nominations. Is there one that means more than others when you lead up to this weekend?
I don't think so. Awards to me, I don't know. I'm just happy to be in the company I'm in with, my fellow musicians, and awards are, I mean, they're nice, but it doesn't matter to me, man. Like it's just nice to be able to be in the company of my friends, and sometimes these things are political, and so they are what they are, and I'm just proud of my team, the hard work that they do, and my fans, and the whole business. And that's how we celebrate it, is with the awards. But the awards are kind of like a sideshow for me.
So this weekend, is it going to be weird for you because you won't be at a venue? You'll probably just be watching like we're watching at a socially distant kind of makeshift CCMA.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool, man. Like it's like almost like a variety show, the way that they've been really creative about this show. And I actually think people are going to super dig it.
Is there something that we can expect to see you doing that maybe you can hint us in on?
There's a drone involved. It's nighttime. There's a bunch of vehicles with headlights, and we're doing Can't Help Myself with the Rec Laws.
Oh, I like cold beer. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, how excited are you to actually play that one live? Because that is such a party, kick off a show, great summer festival song. And to not be able to play that this summer must have been just killing you inside.
Yeah, because you're right. With the big loud PA system and stuff, that would have been huge. So we've done it a few times, and it's fun. But yeah, it's definitely missing that when we've got the subs under the stage, like bouncing your feet off the ground. Like it's really something. So next summer we'll unleash that puppy, and it's going to be fun.
Where do you keep your CCMAs in this new house you said you bought?
They're in a box.
When he says awards don't really, it's not the foreground of what he's in for, he really means it, because his awards are in a box. Now, are you mostly unpacked, or that's just the one box that hasn't been unpacked yet?
It's like the one, yeah. I don't have a shrine. I don't have a shrine in my house. Yeah.
You don't have a big poster of yourself, and
no.
When you walk into the room, it just plays your music.
No.
When you think about the CCMAs, is there a performance that you look back on and it stands out to you, like that year was really special for me and it got talked about a lot because of what I got to do on a stage?
I think it was the year Scott and I got to do Time. It was just himself and me, just the two of us in the arena. That was really special. And just seeing the pictures afterwards, like of just all the phone lights, it was cool.
I got to tell you, because as I asked the question, I said, in my mind, it's Time. So for you to say that was pretty much perfect.
Yeah, that was a special night for sure.
Do you have an idea on what the next single is going to be? When we talked after Can't Help Myself, you knew it was Canadian Summer. Do you have a next one that you think is going to come for us?
I think it might be a song called I'd Go to Jail. I wrote a song about being a dad, and basically saying, I have peaceful hands. And I'm not looking for trouble, but if you hurt my daughter, I'll go to jail over her, kind of thing, right? And so just wrote it for fun, and people are just loving it, and they're responding to it, and it's resonating with them. So we might go with that one next. We're in the studio next week, so we'll see how it all comes out and see where we go from there.
I actually can't wait because I'm a dad of one. I'm a new dad. My daughter Peyton just turned 1, so that song sounds like it might be perfect for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you'll get it. I think you'll understand what it's about.
How did that idea come to you? You're just sitting there one day and you're thinking back on ex-girlfriends that you picked up at 16 years old and had to talk to their dads, or what?
I don't know. Maybe I saw it on a shirt or something. Like maybe I saw the phrase on someone's shirt. I can't remember. I just started noodling on the guitar. Yeah.
But did you ever have a talk with a girl's parents? Did a dad ever try and intimidate you?
Yeah.
What happened?
I can't say. I was being a good boy. He just was making sure I was being a good boy.
Was there I got a shotgun in the garage talk, or?
No, the shotgun never happened. I'm trying to think though, that Jason, my guitar player, was it him? It basically someone had, I'm just going to put Jason in the story because I don't know if it was Jason or somebody he knew, but basically shows up to pick up the father's daughter, his girlfriend or whatever. And the dad just tosses him a shotgun shell, like just tosses him a bullet or, a slug, and says, if you don't treat my daughter respectfully, the next one's coming at you a whole lot faster. I thought that was pretty good.
I would have gone to A&W and just dropped her off. Like, here's your dinner.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
You're home 10 minutes after I picked you up. I think we're good.
Yeah. Like curfew's at 11. It's like 10:10. We got to get you home. Let's get you home.
This sounds perfect to me. Hey, I need you to come into the show a little bit this week and end a debate we're having. When you're eating craft dinner, do you have ketchup on your craft dinner or no?
Yes.
Thank you. And why?
Because ketchup goes on everything.
Thank you. This is what I'm saying. I got roasted on the show yesterday for putting ketchup on my craft dinner.
I'm sure I've offended like some really high-end chefs because I've gone to like fancy places, once in a while, and I'll ask them for like a side of ketchup, and you can tell. I'll even say to them, just don't tell the chef. I'm sure it's amazing, but can I just have a side of ketchup to dip this fancy thing in?
You're like, I'll take the petite filet well done with ketchup, please. And the chef's like, get that guy out of my restaurant. I can't serve this.
Yeah, I'm sure I've embarrassed myself.
So with the Katie, is it just ketchup, or do you add hot dogs in there? There's people yesterday that added sour cream and onion chips or applesauce, or is it just ketchup for you? I'm
good with ketchup, but yeah, I've had it with like wieners or whatever. But I'm good with just a little pepper, a little ketchup, mix it in there, fry it. Frying it's good. Leftover craft dinner, you fry it up, man. It's so good.
That I've never heard of doing because it adds a little crunch to it.
It's even better than just craft dinner, yeah.
This sounds like I got super drunk, woke up hungover. I had craft dinner in my fridge. I wanted to make it a little fancy, so I tossed it in a frying pan.
There you go. A little Frank's hot sauce, maybe.
I really appreciate the time, man. Thanks for chatting with me. Congratulations on all the success. I can't wait till we get to spin the new single as well after you record it.
Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to hear it. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, see you later. Anytime, Dean. Thanks, man.
All right. Take care, man.